Hello and welcome to episode 76 of the 214 Sports Show, the Flozell Adams episode. Legendary
Holy,
offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. If you guessed it was going to be Flozell, you are correct. Five-time Pro Bowler for the Dallas Cowboys, helped protect Tony Romo for a number of years. Legend for the Dallas Cowboys and legend at Michigan State as well. But we are very happy to have you here for this episode. We got a special week, and I'm even more happy to be joined alongside Joe Duffey, my co-host. How are you doing, Joe?
I am doing great, TJ. I wish we could have had our love correspondent here as well, but that's just too bad. Our love correspondent, the man who I won't drop his name right now for his privacy, but it would have been awesome to have his presence here. Inside joke for those who don't understand. It's not, crazy that you're missing this joke, but yeah, glad to be back here for episode 76 and ready to dive in.
Oh yeah, and we are gonna dive in. Um, I wonder who's gonna be next week's episode, real quick though. Episode number 77 next week. Obviously,
Who could
gonna
it
be
possibly
Luke
be?
Jackson, star
Yeah, Luke
closer of the
Jackson.
Texas Rangers.
Shut down arm in the back
Shut
end of the
down
Rangers
arm.
bullpen.
So shut down.
Man of the people. I love Luke Jackson. He's amazing.
Well, we're going to start off this episode with on today's date in Dallas sports history. We're going to go back to 2023, not too far. 2 years ago on July 17th, the Rangers win a big walk-off victory against the Tampa Bay Rays at home. Again, this is the World Series year. Pete Fairbanks, former Rangers pitcher, now with the Rays, or at the time with the Rays, threw a wild pitch that allowed Josh H. Smith to go home and win the game for the Rangers. The other piece in the Joey Gallo trade, Ezekiel Duran, he hit a two-run homer in the sixth to tie it at two. The Rangers moved to 56 and 39. And Aroldis Chapman got his first win in a Rangers uniform with this game.
This was such a fun summer. Oh my God. Obviously this was the last few weeks when before they started to, really crumble in late August, early September. But this run was so fun. And, they had the sweep of the Rays right here, who at the time, I mean, they were a good competitor against us in the American League, but this season we completely um kind of turned it around later half of the year against them. If you remember that first series they had in Tampa Bay and Tropicana Field, they got the better of us. They had that crazy start to the season where they started like 13 and 0. Eventually they kind of came back down to earth, but they swept these guys back in Arlington, and the second time they played in this season, this was one of the big wins I remember for sure. And it made it a little bit sweeter because I had always been a little bit salty that they let go of Pete Fairbanks a little too early. And seeing them get it against him was pretty special. So he's about to be on the trade block again, so he might be out of Tampa Bay soon. But I kind of miss Pete Fairbanks in a way, but this win was awesome.
All right, and let's get started with our Texas Rangers segment. First thing that we want to talk about is the 2025 MLB draft, where the Texas Rangers drafted third baseman Gavin Feen, number 12 overall, a Texas Longhorn commit for college baseball, says that he's going to forego that and go straight to the Rangers, which I think is a great positive sign for the system. Joe, do you think that this trade was, or not trade, draft pick? I mean, what are your thoughts originally on this? Do you think that it's good?
I thought it was a warning to Josh Young. You could say a warning already was made just by dropping him down to, the minors, but I thought that this means for sure they're trying to move in a different direction, get a young talent at the hot corner in a guy like Gavin Feen, a young 18-year-old who posted a career 378 in four varsity seasons, 12 homers, 29 doubles, and 65 ribbies in 91 career high school games, which is pretty salty. So it's kind of interesting also for the Texas Longhorns who have really been pounding it in California recently in their recruits. So I didn't really know too much about him coming into the MLB draft, but it didn't surprise me that he was a Texas Longhorn commit and that he also decided to forego, going to college to, trying his hand in the minor leagues. I don't blame him. If you have the opportunity and you're good enough, you have the talent, why not? He has a good frame. He's 6'3", about 200, which is pretty crazy for an 18-year-old prospect at the hot corner. So
Yep.
he's already got the size. He can add more muscle for sure as time goes, but he's 18. He has plenty of time. Personally, I think this is a great pick for the Rangers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you hit the nail right in the head right here because this is, I mean, you'd think that it's a warning shot to Josh Young, and I think it absolutely is. And I also think that his frame, great, 6'3", 200. He's already beating a lot of the other prospects that were picked in the first round. Um, I know that baseball, it's a little bit less, you don't really draft what you need currently, but I still think that's something that the Rangers should have looked at in the future case, which I don't know if they address this later in the draft, which I don't know if how much that's going to make too much of a difference. But I was kind of seeing that hopefully they would try to pick up a catcher. I think maybe that the catcher is something that is going to be a big need for the Rangers sooner or later. The prospects recently haven't been working out for them. Jonah Heim is having another, since his 2023 All-Star starting season, just hasn't been the exact same that he has from his 2023 form. So I was trying to see if the Rangers would go ahead and pick somebody up at the catcher position, but
In all fairness, I mean, they had Malcolm Moore, I believe, last year. So they
you're
could just
right.
be banking on him. He was a first round pick from
2024.
last year,
Yeah.
also from California. Again, they love these California guys. And there were some reports going on that they've really been trying to draft more college guys if you've seen these last few drafts, especially in the last 3, 4-ish years. But this is really peculiar for the Rangers who have now gone to a high schooler in the first round, which we haven't been accustomed to seeing for Chris Young. So this is kind of a different strategy for the Rangers, but I trust that Chris Young knows what he's doing, going after a young prospect who they can believe they can mold in their system to be the next great hot corner for the Rangers. And by the
Yeah.
way, he goes to a really great high school, went to a great high school that has had 11 players drafted. I need to look up who else went to Great Oak High School in Temecula, California. Let me see this really quick.
Got to do that research real quick. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about it, yeah, he does seem to really want to pick up the college prospects more than the high school prospects, Chris Young, that is. And you wonder what kind of window he's trying to fit Gavin Fean into this team right now, because you would imagine that there's still some kind of championship window that you want to have with your star core, like Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon. But in a few years, they're going to start to get a little older, not be able to hold up as much. We've already been starting to see that a little bit with them. And you're talking about the college players that he's drafted with like Wyatt Langford. I mean, immediate call up to the MLB basically. The same season basically got called up. And so, I mean, obviously not the same season, but he started opening day the next year. So, I mean, he's gonna be. I don't know if this is a huge warning to Josh Young because who knows if he's going to be ready in 2 to 3 years, and that's a long time. That's a long time. People have already talked about trading Josh Young, which I think is crazy because I think his career just started with us. I didn't think that that was even something that people were going to try to start to consider, but I mean, I think it's an interesting pick. I think that the Rangers still heading in the right direction. Maybe a different window, maybe a different competitive window than the current core that we have right now, though. So, anyways, you
Yeah, I
go.
mean, yeah, like based what you're saying, I mean, it could be a warning, it couldn't be a warning. It takes time, like you were pretty much emphasizing. Like we already know that he got dropped down. He'll be back up, I think. Maybe in the second week as they return from the All-Star break, I think. I haven't really looked at his minor league stats since getting brought down, but I think that he'll be back in due time. In the meantime, Duran hasn't been too bad at third base. Josh Smith has been really good at first base. Josh Smith also has been good at third base as well. Always a dependable glove. And so they haven't really lost much. And that series for Josh Young was just catastrophic, where, he couldn't really knock anybody in with much of scoring position. Nobody really could, honestly. But he just had the very bad breaks, striking out a little bit high and in, and just wasn't his weekend for that series against the Mariners. So we'll see where he comes back as we return from the All-Star break. I'm wishing the best for him. I remember the day he was drafted like yesterday, like you were saying. He seems like he's a young guy, but he's getting up there towards 30. So time may be running out for his tenure here in Texas. Hopefully he can turn it around by the time the season ends because this team is only a game under 500.
Yeah, and his hair definitely tells that he's going to be almost 30. Looks like he's pushing 40 almost, man.
Sheesh.
But we're going to the second half of this Texas Rangers season. They're currently 48 and 49. I think they're 8.5 games behind the Houston Astros, and I think they're 2.5 or 3.5 games behind the last wild card spot. Now, we were talking about a pretty easy schedule heading into the All-Star break. Coming out of this All-Star break gets a little tough. I mean, this opening homestand with Detroit, the Athletics, Sacramento, I guess, I don't know, and Atlanta, not too difficult. Obviously, Detroit being the head of the AL is going to be a very daunting task to do, but then you get afterwards and you have some important divisional matchups on the road, which the Rangers have struggled with the Angels and the Mariners, and then you got New York, and then you got Philadelphia, and it just keeps on getting worse. You got a lot of plus 500 teams coming up on the schedule, especially in that August month. Is this a time for the Rangers? I mean, we're nearing this trade deadline. They're sitting right at the perfect mediocre mark. I mean, it's a tough decision to think about. So I'll let you answer it first. Do you think that they should like buy, sell? Do you think they should stay put? I mean, it's nearing up pretty quickly. Trade deadline, I believe, is August or July 31st.
If they have a chance to be, right there in wild card contention, again, I don't know if they're going to win the division. We said a few weeks ago that it's probably Houston, if not Seattle's division to win. But, I've seen crazier division comebacks. They did it in 2015, if you remember that, the season before they were first in the American League. They came back to win the division, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just look at the wild card standings, and looking at that, they have a really good chance to make a good surge right there in the wild card. So why not buy and maybe get more help in the back end of your bullpen, which has been very shaky at times. The middle hasn't been as bad, honestly. We've seen Sean Armstrong have shakiness every now and then, but he's really played much better in the past 2 weeks. Hobie Milner has had his, bad spells every now and then, but he's really had a decent season, to be honest, if you look at the numbers. But I'm really worried about Robert Garcia and Luke Jackson. I like Robert Garcia when he has support, when he has a 2-run, 3-run cushion. Luke Jackson and Garcia really struggle when there's a 1-run game or if it's a tie ball game. You saw it in San Diego again, and you see it in dang near every extra inning contest with this team. So it's very disappointing in that aspect. I think they got to buy for some back end bullpen help for sure. Offensively, is there really anybody they can trade for this lineup? I mean, they have pieces, they just haven't shown up. So I don't know what you go for if you're trying to improve your actual lineup. Jake Berger obviously has not been what we thought he was going to be advertised to be. I don't know who's on the block for first baseman that they can acquire that wouldn't really cost, something special. But I think they're going to buy, which I do believe it's going to be bullpen help.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get help, I think it is bullpen help for sure. But I mean, I could see them doing what they did last year, kind of playing it small, getting pieces that you think could really contribute if you do become competitive. And I think that the Rangers are obviously competitive right now. We're just going into our second half. They're only 3.5 games behind that wild card spot. But you're talking about those three wild card spots in the AL. It's the Yankees, Red Sox, and Mariners. And those three teams, the Yankees are the Yankees, but then the Red Sox and the Mariners have been on fire recently. The Mariners just swept Detroit in Detroit. And I mean, but when you think about it, it is the Mariners. They are a team that with destiny has always seemed to crumble in the late half of the season. So hopefully that's something that can happen because this Rangers team is just having such a difficult time getting on runs. And they don't, I mean, they can go and win 3 games straight, but it doesn't matter because they'll go and lose the next two. And it's like they're not making huge progress. And I don't think with the schedule, with the increased competition and the schedule, coming up, I I don't know. They're going to have to depend on maybe Seattle having some kind of breakdown. Because I don't see Boston having it. I don't see New York having it. Um, we're gonna. I don't know if this team is capable of going on a run. It's going to have to come down to once again the offense stepping up, and gotten a little bit of a flow going recently. They've been able to get some good contact. Everything. So people are starting to warm up a little bit. Marcus Simeon's been heating up. Garcia's been heating up. Seager's been hitting some balls out of the park or out of the home runs now. So, I mean, you're getting some pickup. I think they stay put. I think they do what they did last year, which is like get the solid spots, like I said at the first part of this. Andrew Chafin was one of them. Carson Kelly was another one of the catchers. I think it's something like that. Maybe small little pickups. I don't think that you get rid of anybody. I don't think you try to go and trade Josh Jung or try to look at options for somebody like Nathan Evaldi. Um, I think you try to win with a squad because I mean you got a solid squad on paper.
Yeah, they have a solid squad, and I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Does it make sense as he's been sitting on the couch this entire offseason, this first half? Does it make sense, speaking about a bullpen, to go after David Robertson again, who is 40 years old? He's been rumored for some teams, but he was not bad last
It
year.
is crazy that he hasn't been picked up. I would
It
imagine
is
that he would
it
be
is
picked up by now
terrible.
because he did not do that bad for us last year. For a
Oh
team
my
that
God.
really has always struggled with bullpen and had some struggles last year, he held it down. I'll never forget his 1-2-3 inning with Otani, Freeman, and Betts
Oh
striking out all
man.
three of them.
Wow.
That was some wild stuff. I mean, I would not be opposed to getting Robertson again. Cheap price, somebody who could finish out the season, probably not coming back the next year. Perfect, man. That's something that we need. I'm not a big fan of some of the righties that we have in this bullpen rotation, like Chris Boschley, one of them, the
It's
name of
like
it.
it's like Beasley or something. It's a weird pronunciation. I can't ever get
Very
it.
weird. Very weird. But
Yeah.
we'll see the Rangers back in action tomorrow against Detroit. Now let's move on to another team from Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks. I guess you could say that the Rangers are from Arlington. But the Dallas Mavericks, they're kind of wrapping up their summer league schedule. Not a lot of people are really tuning in now because of the news that Cooper Flag has been shut down for the rest of the summer league. And you could see the results of Cooper Flag getting shut down. Their last game against Charlotte, 87-69 final score. Not anyone really scoring over double digits except for, I believe, Ryan Nembhard. And that is correct. 11 points from Ryan Nembhard. Not a single player with a or a positive plus minus from the starting lineup. We were talking about this last week that we don't really care too much about summer league, but I think that's when it comes to actual prospects that we know are going to be, Cooper Flag, number one overall picks. Summer league, I don't think matters too much. When you're an undrafted player, you're trying to get yourself on a roster. Summer league absolutely matters. We don't know who you are. We haven't seen what you can do, and we need you to prove it to see the potential. So, a little disappointing performance. Doesn't seem like anyone here could be a diamond in the rough. Maybe Ryan Nembhard. What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's somebody else on this roster other than Cooper Flag that could be a potential rotation player?
Don't know if I could say that, honestly. Nothing like really glaring that makes me think, they have a chance at making this roster. Again, this is a loaded roster. Starting five is going to be really good. If you're going to make the roster in this summer league team, you're going to be like, a guy who hardly plays. And that's just the honest truth. Um, I don't think, yeah, they got rid of Dante Exum, right, as it stands. I
Dante
believe they
Exum
did. Is
returned.
he returned? Yeah, he got re-signed.
Spencer
That's
Dinwiddie
right.
signed with Charlotte.
Yeah, Dinwiddie's gone. So I don't think there's a chance still. I think the guy they ended up picking up at the end of last season will stay like Brandon, but I do think that the starting lineup is just too talented. It can carry the load for the majority of the year. Jason Kidd isn't like really empty out his bench like that. So if there's anybody who comes on this team from the Summer League roster, I would be stunned. Ryan Nembhard, I like the guy, but he's not exactly the tallest guy in the world. And if he's going to be one of your, other guards on your team, which he probably won't be, he'll be in the G League if he does make the roster somewhat. Um, he's going to have to face an uphill battle. It's going to be a climb. A lot of guys his size don't really make the league anymore. It's not the 80s and the 90s anymore where you could be 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", and have a sizable role in the NBA. These guys are like on average like 6'3", 6'4" now. A lot of them 6'5". And if you're gonna be a guard, which that's what I was talking about. Those guys are about 6'3", 6'4" now. You got to find a way to really hold your own against,
Yeah.
these perimeter defenders today. So I don't know if Nemhard really has a great chance either. But Cooper Flag, what more can you say? Didn't have the craziest showing. He and Bronny were kind of having a brick off. But, he had a great defense. And what can he say if you're Nico Harrison? That's what you want to see. You want to have a defense first mentality. I bet he had a wide grin after that first game.
Oh, absolutely. That sick bastard. He's got the hat. He's got the cat on the lap.
He
Got the
just,
evil rich person laugh.
oh yeah. I can't get that look of
My
what
new
how he
prophecy.
reacted after the when he was on the bench after AD got hurt, just looking like that. I can't get that
The
out of my
sideline is
head.
going to be
The
legendary.
side there.
That is going to be used for years.
Oh
That
yeah.
is going to be used for years. But I mean, going back to Summer League, Ryan Nimhard, a lot of people were really high on him. We need a facilitator, for a summer league team that has been together for a very little amount of time, very little run together. He was able to really be a commanding facilitator, commanding playmaker for the summer league squad. He had over half the assist against Charlotte with 8 of them. And so I think that that speaks volumes for a team that desperately needs something like that. I don't think that I don't think that he'll make a big difference. I think he's very inconsistent. There's a reason why he went undrafted, and I think that he does turn the ball over a lot. Um, Even though he is the main ball handler, 3 turnovers, completely fine. But I think he just makes a little bit of questionable decisions at times. Um, so I don't know. I don't think anyone on the summer league team makes the roster. Cooper Flag is doing was great though. I agree with everything that you said about Cooper Flag. I don't care too much about how he performed, but I did want to see him try, and I wanted to see him play defense because I know that, you might be a little bit nervous going out there on the first game of summer league, all the expectations stacked on your shoulders. You might be a little timid on offense, but you know what? You don't lose that, you don't get nervous on defense. All right.
You
Same
can't.
stance,
Yeah.
same hustle, same effort. It doesn't get it, nothing changes on defense. If
We've
anything,
seen
it makes
that.
you
Yeah,
work
we've
harder
seen
on
that.
defense.
Yeah, we've seen that in huddles a lot when coaches want to emphasize, don't be discouraged when your shots don't go in. That doesn't mean that your defense has to become lackluster. And that's
Hmm.
what you saw, especially in that game against the Lakers. His defense was still,
Yeah.
very good in the perimeter. He wasn't letting up anything easy. Bronny had some really good middies against him, which was awesome to see as a guy who wants to see Bronny James succeed instead of, have the hate and vitriol thrown his way. But
Hmm.
that's what you want to see if you're Cooper Flag. Every shot ain't gonna go in if you're a rookie, man. These guys are gonna be gunning for the young hot shot. We know how this goes when you're the number one overall pick. You got a point to prove. You want to show that, you're welcoming a guy to the NBA. This is how we do things. He's gonna get a little physical play when he really starts in this in the coming months. But as long as his defense is elite and we know what he can do defensively, he'll hang in there just fine.
Yeah, and he'll get his welcome to the NBA moment. He'll have something in the, he'll have a defensive lapse and something's going to
Hope,
happen. He's going to get bullied. He's still a skinny frame, really, and especially super young. I still can't believe he's 18, man. It makes me feel so old.
hopefully he won't get his welcome to the NBA moment like Noah is saying.
It, it
Jesus,
happened to the
dude.
face, man.
Dude, Johnny Furphy, bro. Come on, man. Was that necessary? That man has a family, Johnny Furphy.
Absolutely necessary, man. He did that to himself. No way. I mean,
Oh.
the photographer snapped that photo, got it, and looked at it, and he's like, he turned to the other
You
camera
see
guy
you
right
see
there.
this?
He's
You
like,
see this?
oh yeah, this is gonna be on Bleacher Report. It's gonna be on Bleacher Report later
Oh my
today.
God, bro. Johnny Furphy, bro. The funny thing is, he didn't even have a bad game. Noah's saying he didn't even have a bad game. He had like 20
Mhm.
something points, but people are going to remember that picture, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
going to follow him for probably this whole season. Hopefully not his whole career, but
People remember Jason Terry for getting dunked on by LeBron, but
oh
people won't
yeah.
remember that he outperformed him in 2011. So
No,
it's
they don't.
people
That's
remember you by singular moments sometimes. All
that's
right.
my jet.
That's his legacy now. His legacy is getting dunked on by Johnny Furphy in the summer league. So hopefully he can
James.
rebounds from that. But yeah, I mean, this is it's gonna be an interesting year with Cooper Flag. I think that he gets his welcome to his NBA moment, obviously, and he's gonna have some defensive laps. But you know what? It's gonna be how he responds. I think that he has that mindset. I think he showed that in the summer league that he can get back up and he can try. And that's what you really want to see from somebody that you know is not really, I'll knock on wood particularly loud here, but you know somebody's going to be good in the NBA, a very solid player for your team. And that's, he has that mentality that he can fit right in, be a good team player. So love to see that. That's going to really do it for our Dallas Mavericks episode. You know what? I do want to say real quick, another Nico Harrison disaster class real quick. Just want to say, what happened to Melvin Aginsa? What's it? Our second round pick like 2 years ago that he selected. I'm looking at this Dallas Mavericks box score. I forgot that he was even on the summer league team. He didn't play. He's not even getting minutes. Their second round pick 2 years ago. I've seen it. People are like, oh, look at, he's playing overseas with France and stuff, and France basketball team, and everybody's like, oh, look what he just did. 20 points in the Euro League. He might be something. Not even playing on our summer league team, man.
That is kind of wild. I don't know how that's working out. Is it because of the tournament that's going on in Europe right now, if there is one?
You might, I mean, maybe,
Was
you
he
talk
even
about
was he on
Luka
the
was too
bench at
tired
all?
from EuroLeague, but I don't know if, it might not even be EuroLeague. It could be a step down. Could be something that,
My God.
but yeah, that's really it for the Dallas Mavericks. That's really going to be it for this episode as well. The episode number 76, the Flozell Adams episode of the 214 Sports Show. We really appreciate you joining us for this special episode. If you do like this content, you can like, subscribe, and share. You can follow us. This is all going to be on. We post weekly on Thursday at 11 a.m. on YouTube and Spotify at the 214 Sports Show, and then on Instagram and Twitter/X, and on TikTok. You can follow us there for any of our additional thoughts, some of our content we like posting on today's date for Dallas sports. We do a lot of good stuff. That'll be at 214 Sports Show. And yeah, Joe, do you want to plug your socials?
I absolutely would love to, TJ. At Joseph underscore Duffy 99 Instagram. And also it's the same on Twitter at Joseph underscore Duffy 99 or TikTok at JOE underscore Duffy.
You can follow me on Twitter/X at TJ underscore Krilowicz, and then on Instagram at TJ.Krilowicz. And that'll do it for episode 76 of the 214 Sports Show. We are so delighted that you decided to stay with us and hear what we wanted to say about the Rangers and the Mavericks. We'll love to have you back next week for episode number 77. Oh boy. Episode number 77 next week, Thursday at 11. Hope to see you guys there. Have a good one.